Okay, good morning, or not good morning, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. And first off, I want to give a shout out to Zaria in Houston. This is her question. Determine the effects on the graph of the parent function. So this is our parent function, f of x equals x. For each g of x function, and they want us to graph both. So they want us to show them the effects of this function, f of x. And this, when you see f parentheses x, this is called f of x. That's how we say it. So f of x equals x. And they want to see what the effects are for each g of x function. Now the first g of x function is g of x equals f of x plus 3. Okay. So the first thing we have to consider is, what does f of x look like? And then what does g of x equals f of x look like? Okay, now when you're first done with this stuff, I know it could look like Chinese, but that's okay. That's why I'm here. Help you figure it all out. Now, one thing I want you to always remember, whether you see f of x or g of x, just think of that as a y. So this is a y. Let me just, so don't even look at that as really like g of x. You just look at that as a y. You don't look at this as f of x. You look at this as a y. And what we're doing is, like we talked about in our previous video, is plotting this line or function or whatever it is. It could be a line. It could be anything. All right. But these are both going to be lines to just keep it simple. So what we have to do is we have to make a table. All right. Now, if you looked at the previous video I showed you, we know we have, my little thing's trying to fall apart on me. Okay. We know we have an x-axis and we have a y-axis. All right. This is our y-axis. Alright, so we have our x-axis and our y-axis. And what we need to do is, first off, the parent function, I'll just put it over here, parent function. Our parent function is f of x equals x. Now, I know this might look a little crazy, but don't worry about that. Because remember, we just think of f of x as y, remember, as I said before. So when we make our table, let's say we're going to want to know what our x is, and we want to know what our y coordinate is. All right. So what I like to do is, I like to start considering our origin. I try to take a couple points on this side of on one side of the origin, and then some points on the other side of the origin. So what I'll do is I'll just go -3, -2, -1, 0, and then 1, 2, 3. Or you can do them in reverse order, however you want to do it, but that's fine. So we know what our x coordinates are to find our point. So f of x. So this is actually pretty easy, because if I plug in, if we think of this as y, just think f of x equals x. Just think y equals x. So whatever we plug in x is going to be equal to y. So we put in -3, our y coordinate is going to be -3. We put in -2, our y coordinate is going to be -2. Because this is to balance out, to make the equation true. If I put in -1, -1 can only be -1, so the result of y has to be -1. If I put in 0 here, the only way that could work out is y. So if x is equal to 0, y's got to be equal to 0 to complete the statement, the mathematical statement. So like I said, this is pretty easy. And 1, 2, and 3. So we have our x and y coordinates now. All right, so let's just say, I'm trying to make this 1, 2, 3. All right, 4, 5, and 6. All right, and we'll go to our other side. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right. Come down. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 on the y-axis. Okay, so just coming over, we know this is positive 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, negative 1, negative 2, and I'll put them there if you want me to, just so everything could be identified. And this is very lengthy, I know it is, but we'll move faster as we go along. And this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This is negative 1, negative 2, negative 3, negative 4, negative 5, negative 6. And 1, 2, 3, like I said, our number line. All right, so we have our items numbered. So if we come in and our x value is negative 3, which means on our x number line we go over negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. Our y value is negative 3, so negative 1, negative 2, negative 3. I'm going to use red on this one, so we should land right about here with our point. Negative 2, we go negative 2 on the x-axis, we go down negative 2 because that's our entry. Then we should wind up here. Negative 1 here, 0, 0, the origin, 1, 1 here, 2, 2 here, and 3, 3 here. So we see what we got here. So this is the parent function. I'm just trying to make sure it's all in there. So this is the parent function, f of x equals x. All right. So what the question is in your textbook is determine the effects on the graph of the parent function f of x equals x. So now we know what f of x is. All right. And f of x just goes just like that. All right. All right. So now we want to know what is the effect when we put in. Now, when we come back and we want to plot out g of x, so this is f of x was x, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to go ahead and take that out because we don't need that. We know what our f of x, so, and I'll even put it in red, no problem, if you want. This red is f of x equals x, all right, and it's red. So we got our red line, we got our line here. F of x equals x. All right. So now let's use another color. I need something strong, and I don't want to shake my camera. Come on, buddy. Hope I didn't shake it too bad. All right. Maybe a little bit. All right. Now we want to find out. Well, what is? Let's see here. G of x equals f of x plus 3. All right, so g of x equals f of x plus 3. Now, again, like I said, when you look at our g of x, we're just going to look at that as a y coordinate. All right. And our f of x, we're just going to look at as our x value to simplify. G of x is the function, f of x plus 3. So we're going to consider, we're just going to think of this as a y, all right? And we're going to plug in negative 3. So if I plug in negative 3 here, we're just going to think of it as y equals negative 3 plus 3. And that's going to make y equals what? 0. Y equals 0. All right, so we're going to have to make another table. And this is going to get a little crazy because I have limited room. So in our xy table, we put in negative 3, we get 0. Let me just see how much real estate we have there. I think we can work it out a little bit. So I'll just g of x equals f of x plus 3. So again, we look at that as y, and we put in negative 3, which is the f of x plus 3, and we got 0. So we put in negative 3, we got 0. Alright, again, just to be, here we put in negative 2, and we put in negative 2 plus 3. Our result is going to be 1. So negative 2 is going to give us 1. Because negative 2 plus 3 equals 1. So that's going to be our y value. Alright. 1, if we put 1 here, plus 3, our result is going to be, so the 1 is the x value. Remember, we plug in 1 here, and we're going to get 4 this time. We put in 0, y equals 0 plus 3, we're going to get 3. And 1, if we put in a 1 here, 1 plus 3 equals 4. We put in a 2, bringing our table down. And I could just do this in my head. 2 plus 3 is 5. And 3 would be 6. So this is our g of x function. And now what they want to know is, again, back to our question, determine the effects of the graph on the parent function, which is f of x equals x. And then now we put in our g of x equals f of x plus 3. Then what we have now is we have a whole new line. Okay, so negative 3 and 0. Negative 3, if we plug in negative 3, our y value is 0. So our coordinates are here. Negative 2 on the x-axis, 1, 2. Then we get 1. Negative 2, positive 1. If we go over 1, then we get 4. And I messed up this point. Negative 3, 0. I messed up. I went the wrong way. I was like, damn, it was messing me up. All right. So negative 3 on the x value, 0. We don't go up. All right. 1 up 4. 0, 3, 1 and 4, we did that one. 2 and 5, 1, 2, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So basically what we got is, this is the parent function, and this is the g of x function. So what has happened between our parent function and the g of x function? It's actually shifted upwards. The slope is the same. These are two positive slopes, and they're pretty much they're parallel they look parallel to each other, which means they're not going to intersect at any point. They're parallel, so they're just going to go in the same direction. Get my hands together. All right, so that is 1. And if you have any questions, ask your mom, and we'll talk about it. Bye-bye.